A lot of people that have gone to school have told us how to run business. Everything I've done actually was like, would I describe it as disruption of the norm, what is familiar, the usual way things should be done. But as an individual, I strongly advocate for apprenticeship. The university I went is a university of apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is like mentorship, but a little deeper than mentorship in the sense that you are under tutorage of somebody you consider a boss who instructs you, but kind of hands-on training on the job. This is another university of its kind in the world. By the time you are done, if you were disciplined during your apprenticeship system, all you need to receive is the blessing of your boss, even without capital. Because every rudiment you require to run business, you already possess it by the training you have. Usually, this apprenticeship varies subject to the agreement between minimum 4 years to maximum 8 years, as case may be. In some cases, it goes up to 9 years. But I haven't seen somebody can go and learn a trade under 2 years or 3. But if you really want to do apprenticeship, the minimum your boss will accept will be 4 years. 5, 6 years is within the range that it hovers averagely. Within this number of years, you are not paid salary. You are fed and you are clothed and you are taught everything you require. And the things they are teaching people in the university, you are taught exactly the same thing, but an informal way. You will learn purchase, you will learn administration, you will learn financial management, you will learn accountancy, you will learn everything, inventory management. By the time you are set up, you are a boss, somebody with full knowledge of everything that they require to run a business. And if you have that discipline, you've also learned economics during this apprenticeship, because you, by day-to-day training, you learn opportunity costs, what you need to sacrifice for what is most important, what you need to differ for what you are aiming at. So that's why quite a number of people who do not understand this, especially the young generation that went to school, go to university and have BSc, they don't understand this. And the first thing they tell you is that what stopped them from becoming successful is that they don't have enough capital, but they have knowledge on what to do. I've sat quite a number of them down to say, if you ask me to define a place of capital to what is required to be successful in business, yes, capital is very important, but the real truth is that it did not play more than 30, maximum 40% in the equation. I would say 25%. The knowledge you have, but a lot of people don't understand this. At the end of the day, we tell them that when you have capital without knowledge, without properly being schooled on what to do with it, we will tell you in business terminology, you'll learn in a hard way, because you are going to lose that capital to learn what you needed to have learned before you have the capital. So I encourage people to pay attention. If you set out to go into business, especially business you have not done before, take your time to learn that industry. Take your time to work pro bono if the need for it be. Don't put money first. Money is just an exchange for value. You need to get value before you will get money. If you don't get value, you will not get money. Anyone who had money and does not deliver a value stole the money, is a thief. So I would like to leave it at that point, and I will come back ask me a question to expatiate.
Great. So I'd like to ask, how many years did it take you to learn the trade? This was an auto, it was someone like a roadside mechanic, isn't it, that you learned?
But my uncle sell motorbike component, the parts of internal combustion engine, all the spare parts for motorcycle was the university I went. I worked for him close to 6 years, 5 years plus, but almost 6 years.
So when you finished about 6 years, usually what we hear is that the average Igbo man will set his apprentice up. Did he set you up?
Yeah. It's a welfare system of the Igbo tradition that you work for your uncle, your mother, senior brother or sister, or your nephew. At the end of it, it sets you up, and the normal tradition way of setting up is that he's going to rent a shop for you and pay the first 2 years or minimum 1 year tenancy. But if your boss is very generous, he will pay for 2 years. He will, from the stock he had, list out merchandise and give you part of the merchandise at its cost price for him. So if there's something that is selling 1,000 naira, but the cost price is 700 naira or 800 naira, he will invoice it to you at 800 naira, give you some of your setup on merchandise, and then hand some cash over to you. But he will aggregate it like 50%. He will, assuming after you work for your uncle for 5 years or 6 years, he can decide to settle you with, say, 5 million naira. After paying for a store for you, he can give you merchandise of 2.5 million naira and give you cash of 2.5 million naira. And that will be your stewardship for that 5 years. That is like, it's like your salary is being saved. You are not paid on a month-to-month basis, but setting you up is that you are giving something in bulk. From that day, you are the boss of your own. Nobody asks you how you spend that money. If you mismanage it, you close shop and go back to the village. If you grow from that, you become successful, and nobody can limit your destiny. From that day, your boss that settled you is your competitor. You can compete with him and do it. So after working for my uncle for 6 years, in 1976, my uncle gave me 200 naira. By this time, my uncle gave me 200 naira. The normal thing is the minimum capital young men who did apprenticeship are given is 20,000. So it was like, where do I go from here? It wasn't just like, where do I go from here? Because I definitely asked my uncle, what did you want me to do with this? He said, whatever you like to do with it. I went with my senior brother. My senior brother was angry because our uncle was my mother's junior brother. So I asked my uncle, I worked for you 6 years. 200 naira, what does it represent? A feeding money or my setup capital? This is what 6 years of hard work amount to. Do you want me to buy 1 carton of plug? There is something that ignite a car we call spark plug. I said, do you want me to buy a plug and hawk it like I'm selling bread and carry it in my head and say, buy plug, go? Because usually I should own a store. This is not a store, this is everything. He said, whatever I like to do, I should do with it. But one of the things I advise young men and young women, anybody who went through this apprenticeship, and that comes back to our book, is about integrity. Live clean, live pure, so that you don't have tragic memory. Because I worked for my uncle with the depth of my sincerity, I was able to confront him directly. I looked him straight to the eye. I said, Uncle, I worked very hard and I gave your success my very best. I started with you where you earn nothing. I was with you when we were staying in a 1/4 of a store. We grew and get 1/3 of a store. We get half of a store and we own full store. I walked with you. You were driving, you bought a motorbike. You didn't have nothing. From motorbike, you bought a car. You built a house. And I set up your first branch in Jos. I set up your second branch in Sokoto. I set up your third branch in Nnewi. You have expanded in 3 cities. And Lagos is your head office. And I worked for all of this. I could have taken some extra money like other young people did, but I did not. I have nothing of yours that does not belong to me. Why did you give me 200 naira? He said, yes, clearly, because I became a religious fanatic. And indeed, I shut his store at Nnewi on Monday and went to church for 3 days, fasting and prayer meeting. We were at the 3rd day when he came and asked for me, and they told him we are having a camp meeting. So someone came to look for me and said, my uncle is looking for me. And when I see him, he said I should see him that evening and I should come with my senior brother. He said, have I become religious fanatics that I should close shop on a Monday? I said, Uncle, I was praying for that business to survive and to make progress. I opened Sokoto branch. I opened Jos branch. I run them successfully. The same system I use is what I'm saying. It's okay. I gave you 200 naira so that you can go and run your own business. So when my senior brother said I should leave it and let us go, because I've learned some principles in life. Life is operated on principle. If you know principle, you are strong, you have wisdom. If you know principle, you stop doing certain things. So I told my uncle to write something down. He was looking at me. I said, Uncle, 5 years from today, 5, if you had the person I have become, your head will be spinning. When I said that, my uncle shifted in his seat. There are something you are not expecting 15 years boy to say. He turned and said, well, I know you will be successful. I said, thank you very much. That's the only thing I needed from you.
Wow.
My sister said, we are not going to go with that money. I told my senior brother, do you have anyone to give me when we get home? He says, no. So I said, why are you asking me to leave this one? I've read in the scripture, do not neglect the beginning of a small thing. Yes, it is small, but it's not the small of that thing that matters, but your mindset, your mental attitude towards anything is a key.